Hello YouTube and welcome to another video. This video is going to be focusing on the installation and setup of RSMv2. Um, what v2 is basically a rewrite version from v1. Um, it's better, it's easier to use, it's faster, it has less bugs. I'm not going to say like it doesn't have any bugs at all because nothing is bug free and I'm a shitty coder, so yeah, if you download V2, well, when you buy RSM, you'll get your license key, you'll get the download link to V1, and you'll get the download link to V2 beta in your email. But if you don't have that, you can join our Discord server that is located in the description of the video. Um, it's also on the buy page. Basically, the Discord is locked down to customers only. So if I go to open RSM right now, uh, this is what you'll be greeted with. You'll basically see nothing past the update preview channel. The rest of these are just, how can I put it, are private for customers only, and some of these are for me and my admins only. So you'll just have to follow the steps in the verified channel and send your license key to the bot, and then you'll get access to the rest of the Discord server, and including the downloads channel. Um, so yeah, enough of the Discord. So after you downloaded RSMfmx v2, you'll get an updated exe file. This is a poor choice of a name on my part, my bad. I've known a lot of people get confused by this. They think it's just an updater, but it's also the installer. It works as both. So if you double click it, it's gonna download all the files that are required, and it downloads it inside of the directory you open it on. You don't get to choose. Well, you do. You just copy and paste that inside of that directory you want to choose it. So when you open RSM for the first time, you will be greeted with this. So you can go ahead and enter your license key. Yours will be much longer. Mine is just shorter because this is a temporary license key. That's what she said. And after that, you'll be greeted with this. It'll say something went wrong. Please confirm settings and click test and save. Now, this happens because the database connection fails. Now, I'm not a good database developer. In fact, I barely work with databases. So if you're a developer and you're like, oh, this guy can do this, I can do it 10 times better than you, you know? Um, kudos for you, dude. I don't care. Basically, RSM uses a MySQL server to store player tracking information, data, and everything. RSM tracks everything the player does, basically. So if you want to, you know, track how many times they've said a certain word, RSM does it for you. You can view that later once I add the ability, but currently everything does get logged in the background. But yeah, so either you can download a MySQL server, anyone that you want, or you can let RSM handle everything for you. I've made this extremely convenient for people. So here you can just enter your database details if you already have an existing one. Default password is Tor for RSM. If you go to install MariaDB and you go to advanced settings, I do not recommend allowing remote access. Remote access is basically, how can I put it? Anything outside of the machine will be able to access this MySQL server then. If you don't want to have anything else outside of your computer have access to the MySQL server, then don't enable this. In fact, I actually recommend you leave everything as default, and then you can just click install. It's gonna start downloading MariaDB for you. Um, yes, I don't have fiber, not yet at least, and my internet is not of the best. But I have made it extremely convenient for people to set this up, including a MySQL server. RSM does everything for you. You don't have to do anything at all. And it's gonna start installing it for you. It's a silent install, so it runs it in the background. This is just so people actually see what's going on. So just go ahead and click yes, and it says done installing. There we go. Install is done. Please click test and save at the bottom right. Blah blah blah. If you left everything as default over here, meaning you can change the database name if you want. It just changes, the database name in which this is useful for multiple servers. If you have multiple servers, you can change the database name. So each server would have its own, tracking. Afterwards, you can just click test and save, setup complete. Okay, so RSM is connected to the database as well. Now we can just go ahead, I'll leave this open here on the side so you can see the changes RSM makes directory-wise. Hostname, this is your server hostname. Server tags, I don't know if you've noticed, but Facepunch or Rust added a tags option inside of the server list. So if you click on that button, you'll be greeted with this page once it loads. These are all the available tags that are currently available. You cannot make your own, you can only use these. The reason why I didn't make it easier to use is because I'm kind of thinking about the future. I'm thinking they might change it a lot. Then you have the server description editor. You don't need to add \n to make a new line. RSM does it for you. So this is line 3 and this is line 4. This is if I can't type, this is a tutorial line 3, line 5, and line 6. If you click save, you'll see it added everything for us. This is not editable in this line, you need to click edit. Okay, server description URL. Or server URL. This is, the website button on the server list. This is for the banner. The logo image is for the Rust Plus app on your phone, the companion app. There's a design guide that Facepunch provided for you. And yeah, server maps. Procedural map, Barren Island has all of the default apps. Let's choose Craggy Island because it's a test map. If you want to have a custom map, you can enter the URL here and give it a title. Now, it has come to my attention that nobody likes the custom map feature I made because I thought I would be making it easier, but it turns out people are updating their maps quite a lot, and it's just a process to constantly re-add it instead of just directly adding, the URL at the bottom here. So I'll probably change the way custom maps work in the future. This won't stay here for long. Okay, Craggy Island, and obviously if you know how Rust maps work, the map size and seed only works with procedural and barren because these are randomly generated maps based on the seed and world size. If you choose a static map such as a custom map or any one of the other maps, predefined, these options are useless. But I added them anyways because in V1 people got confused as to why they no longer have access to these, and I got tired of explaining to every single person why, because no one reads the fast answers and questions section, if I can put it like this. Archon password. The Archon password, basically, you cannot have any specialized characters in this. This is not my doing. This is due to the way the Archon password gets handled. But yeah. Server IP, if you do not know what this is, leave it as default. If you do not know what this option is for, leave it as default. These two options are only for if you have multiple IP addresses assigned to your machine. Yeah. So, but if you don't, then don't touch this. Otherwise, your server is going to have startup problems and you're going to have to go and contact support or go ahead and complain on my Discord servers. Countless of other people have done. But yeah. So just leave this as default, don't touch it. Server ports, you can change it to what you want. RSM manages the companion server port for you, meaning the Rust Plus app on your phone. So if I change this to, let's say, a 7, and I click save, you'll notice the port changes here as well. But I'm going to change it back. I'm going to click save again. And let's not touch advanced settings. Max players, self-explanatory. This is the maximum amount of players, that can join your server before they enter queue. Server variables. These are for, basic configurations. You can search here, but once the server is online only, because RSM can grab, what is actually available to use from the server, but the server needs to be online. And you can add these while the server is online, and it will take effect once the server is online as well. Then you get the server installer. This is the server branch selector. You get master and staging. We're obviously going to choose a master branch. So we're just gonna go ahead and click install or update server. So this is if you want to install or update your server, this is what you're gonna use to do so. This will install the server inside of the directory as well. Verify server files. If you want to uninstall UMod, you know, or your server is acting wonky or doesn't want to start up or you get a bunch of errors, you can just go ahead and click this. You will need to reinstall UMod if you want to. So let's go to the UMod tab. I actually strongly recommend you guys donate to UMod. None of this Rust stuff will be possible if it wasn't for them. I doubt even Rust would be as popular if it wasn't for them because they make managing and owning a Rust server so much easier. Not only do they provide more features as well, they make the game popular, in my belief. So let's quickly go ahead and view the groups here as well, the UMod tab. So you can either uninstall it, but if you click the uninstall, it's just going to tell you you're on the verify server file option. This is going to take a while. So don't install it unless the server is done installing. So you get the server list category. Do you want it to show under modded or community? There's a warning about community. If you have it listed under community, you're not allowed to have any game-changing plugins. Admin plugins only. Nothing that changes the game mechanics. Okay? Auto load and reload plugins. So once you edit a plugin, not the config, but the plugin alone, or you delete it or copy and paste inside of the plugins folder, it would automatically load and unload the plugin or reload it or whatnot. Default groups. So if you're unfamiliar with how Oxide permission groups work, you can go ahead and go to umod.org and view it on there. They have pretty good documentation of how all of this works and they explain it really good. But by default, every player that joins a server is assigned to a group called default. And if you have owner ID, or you can manually assign them the admin group. But if you give someone an off level of owner ID 2, then they will be in the admin group. Web request API, again, if you want web requests from plugins to be made from a specific IP address that is already assigned to you, you can enter that here. Now, the UMod console, to be honest, I never really noticed a difference. I've never played with this as well. So this is up to you to play as well. The player manager, obviously this is going to be useless currently, but we can currently go over this. You can have RSM get the player country and the amount of hours they have on Rust, provided you set the API key for your, Steam, your Steam API key. You can just get that by clicking get. So it shows the player list shows the Steam ID, username, the ping of the player, the IP address, and the port they're connected to. The connection time, meaning the amount of time they have been on the server. The player health. These are resizable, and you can drag and change them like this. Then you get the country they're from and the Rust hours, which will only show if you set the Steam API key. Here you can go and click and refresh the list, and here you can click to manage the players, but obviously no players are online. Sleepers, the players that are currently asleep and alive on the server. This is not an offline player list. This will only show the players that are busy, that are live on the server and that are sleeping. The bans, this is the, well, self-explanatory. Players that are banned on this specific server, you can just unban them with this button. Muted players, players that are muted, you can go ahead and refresh it with this. You can only unmute a player if they are online on the server. Don't ask me why. Ask Facepunch. But yeah, so RSM also provides the ability to record player demos. I've already made a video on this, so you can just view that video. Plugin manager. This is what I'm most proud of. So you can either install extensions or plugins from RSM as well, which makes it really easy. So you don't need to go and download it, copy and paste it into a folder, or directly download it into a folder. You can just double click. It's going to load all the information. You can choose what version plugin you want to have and install, or you can view the plugin page for more details, which I always recommend doing. You know, this is just if you know plugin names by heart and what they do. You know, this is what it's for. Same with extensions. Some extensions, RSM does not provide a extension updater because they need to be manually updated. So you get Rust Edit, which is self-updating. Kudos to Kill You for actually doing that. So the extension updates itself. You only need to install it once and it'll update itself. More info takes you to the extension page. It is not on UMod. It'll take you to his website. Then you get the Discord extension, which is on UMod, but you need to manually update this, according to my knowledge. Yeah, and if you click here, it'll take you to the UMod page. Obviously, I'm just going to cancel this. The plugin updater, actually, I can show you how this works while the server is updating, since this is an offline process. So let's say I want to install a plugin called Stack Size Controller. Let's install an older version, 2.0.1. We click install. It's going to install the plugin. Now, if you go to the plugin update, you can go ahead and check all. It's going to loop for all of the plugins and tell you which ones has an update available and so on. Heed my words, or heed them, or however you say it. Before updating a plugin, always view the info. You always want to see what changed in the update. Because sometimes, you know, they require new configs or new data files or whatnot. But you can just either click update all, which will update all of the plugins that have an update available, or you can just click update and it'll update the stack size controller. So if you click check all again, oh look, no update available. Installed plugins, this will list the currently installed plugins. You can import a plugin, you can reload the selected plugin, or you can view the plugin page on UMod. Or you can delete it if you want so badly. Config editor, this is a temporary thing. It will look a lot better, trust me. I'm just figuring out a way how to make it look more better. Look better, if I could put it like that. So obviously no config has been generated yet. I can't show you, but you can reload the plugin on save. And if you just click save, it will save it and reload it. And yeah, it'll take effect. The console, RSM gives you the ability to split up the CMD window into much easier UI to read and double click to view. I need to fix that. If you double click and there's nothing there. So you can view the raw console data, which is this server console, servers online. Chat, here's the, you can view chat messages, you can also send chat messages. The events, server events such as cargo ship and so on can be viewed here at what time they took place. Who killed who and at what time. Joins and disconnections, I should actually change the name. But if someone joins or disconnects, it'll show here as well and when that took place. Database. Currently, RSM does log everything, you know, everything a player says or does and so on. RSM logs that, but I have not added the ability to view those logs yet. But if you have a database viewer, you can just view them yourself. Yeah, no players are obviously in a database except for the default ones RSM adds. Meaning ID 1 is RSM and ID 0 is unknown, which means RSM doesn't know, you know, what caused specific things. It's just a data logging thing. So the server just finished installing, just in the nick of time as well. So this is how it looks like if the server is done installed. And it's going to warn you saying that UMod Oxamod should be installed. We can just go ahead and do that quickly. Luckily, this is a quick process. Okay, this is done. So now we're going back to the server config. We're gonna leave everything as default. We can probably change the name. This is for my tutorial. And you're gonna want to go ahead and click, let's just make it one player. I want to go ahead and click save config. Now let's go to the start server options. So you can either make a custom bat file, which loads it from the kernel UI that you set, just basic, or you can load one. or you can let RSM generate it for you with best settings and whatnot. So basically, Rust introduced something called game modes. Currently, there are only 2 game modes available, hence only 2 options, which is vanilla default or softcore, which is for beginner servers. Servers that prioritize beginner players over the old ones. So then you get these CPU affinity options. If you enable this, this basically allows you you should only enable this if you have multiple game servers, not multiple Rust servers, just multiple game servers in general running. So you can prioritize CPU usage to each server. A Rust server only uses about 2 of these at a time, so yeah. So we can just go ahead and click Start Server. Now this will start a server on our Craggy Island map, and while that is starting up, I'm going to start Rust. So long. This video is unedited, just so you would know I'm not, you know, fixing mistakes behind the background. So what exactly I am doing is what you're going to get at the end if nothing changes in the future. So server is still starting up. Oh yeah, always click allow access, private and public, allow. Let me actually quickly show you how you can allow your server through the firewall. So if you go to this, works on Windows servers as well. I'm just gonna go to the control panel since it's a lot easier to explain. So go ahead and large or small icons, not categories. I'm gonna go large for the video. You want to go to the Windows Defender firewall, and at the top left, select allow an app or feature through the firewall. This is the most easiest way to allow it through the Windows firewall. This does not make it port forwarding. I'm not going to explain port forwarding to you. There's tons of videos out there for each router, make, and model. So just click change settings, click allow another app, and browse. Now you want to go ahead and browse to the rust dedicated.exe file and click add. Or I just allowed it through the firewall and it asked, so yeah, it's going to say it's already there. Your server is online. RSM shows the server stats and whatnot of it. If your port forwarding is done correctly and you did the firewall thing, I cannot see why your server will not show in any of these lists. These are the tags that I explained. But if you're hosting this on the same computer, you know, that you're gonna play the game on, you might not see in the server list. So here you can see the server port is 28015. So we're going to go ahead and connect to the server right now. So we can just go ahead and say connect localhost since this is on the same computer, 28015, and hit enter. Now this will connect to the server, and if you look at the bottom of RSM, it says one player is currently joining, which is me. Now this is going to take a while to load in, but eventually you'll see this. It shows that these are clickable, but they are not yet. Most features are still under development, so please just be patient. Later you will be able to click there and you will actually see who is busy loading into your server. Same with the queue. It'll show who's in queue and you can click a button and it'll skip the queue for that player and he'll just load in instantly. So I am actually loading in pretty fast. This is why I chose procedural map, because it's a really small map and it's fast. So I'm going to go to player manager and online players, and I'm in. It'll tell you the player list is outdated and you can fix this by hitting refresh. Obviously I'm on local IP address, country won't show, and the Rust hours won't show because I have not added a Steam API key. So we can just select any player name and click manage. Now if you did set the API key, this is what these stats will show. These are global stats, you know, for every server combined, and the stats on the right is just for this specific server. Here you can give player warnings, you can view the warnings they've gotten, you can kick them, you can ban them with special durations, mute options, you can mute a player here, you can record a demo for a player, you can kill the player. As you can see, that actually worked. You can view the combat log for a player. This is actually kind of useful for server admins that think, you know, players are hacking. So find a boar somewhere. Or something that can kill me. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I hear something. Is this a horse though? Or not? Let's have these boars kill me. And you're an RSM, use a console. Quantum was killed by a boar. Cool. This is also the console. If you want to copy something, just double click it. Chats and then just go there. So it's not going to show there because this only shows player versus players. This is when I joined. And if we go to the player manager, click manage selected and click combat log, you will see quantum killed quantum. Because basically I got killed. But if you also just respawn, if I actually did end up attacking a boar, you know, it would show. Just quickly show for you. And then we can RSM combat log. It'll tell you that you hit a boar, which means me, and it'll tell you if I just recut man. Yeah, you can set the off level. I set myself owner ID, which will give you access to all commands and so on, but certain plugins still need certain permissions. I'm gonna set an owner ID, but you have to rejoin, so I'm just gonna make RSM kick me as well. And we want to rejoin the server. While we rejoin, I want to show you here quickly. Here you can see we died one time, so if you click refresh, we died twice now. So it logs the deaths, it logs everything. Here's my old body. YouTube, please don't demonetize me. But yeah, if you want to stop your server, just hit refresh as well. If you want to, you know, stop the server, there's a giant stop server button here at the top. Just click stop, and you can click yes, and the server will shut down with a restart timer. Now this restart timer is only going to count down if you enable the auto restart after shutdown. This is for servers that have auto restart plugins and so on, and yeah. Otherwise, if you want to cancel a restart, just close it. And this has been the RSM tutorial video. Pretty easy to use. I actually forgot to show you this, but it's real easy to use as well. If you have any other questions regarding RSM, please ask me on the Discord server. Don't ask in the YouTube comment section. I will end up... I actually do not check the comment section, if I'm going to be honest, because I end up forgetting to check it. So I'll link the Discord in the description as well, so you should go ahead and use that. Anyway, peace out.